Boston Celtics dropped back-to-back games, the first time since November that they've done so, but it really made myself and producer Smitty think, does Boston really have everything they need in order to win the NBA Finals this year? That's exactly what we're going to talk about here on Celtics Today by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Allie Barefoot, and I've got three players that I personally think, let me rephrase that, three members on the Boston Celtics organization that I think have to step up in order to hang banner 18 in the rafters in the offseason. But first and foremost, if I'm being overreacting, if I'm just being dramatic, if you guys are not worried at all about the Boston Celtics, well, now's your time to go on ahead and show it. If you still believe the Celtics are the best team in the NBA, which by the record, they are, go on ahead and like this video for me. I say we just jump right into it. Let's go on ahead and start it off with Derrick White. And let me take this starting off here with a grain of salt in the fact that these players are fantastic. However, could they do more to help the Celtics get banner 18? Absolutely. Derrick White has not been bad. However, they do need him to step up, especially with these last two games that just occurred for the Boston Celtics, losing to an Eastern Conference team, losing to a Western Conference team, and Derrick White was nowhere to be found. That's not what Derrick White typically does. Throughout the season, he's actually really made a name for himself, and while he's not doing necessarily bad right now, he could be doing a lot better. NBA University tweeted this out a couple days ago saying Derrick White is shooting 68.8 effective field goal percentage. That is amazing on pull-up jumpers over the last 15 games. Best in the NBA during that span. White's shooting is devastating for opponents, especially in the clutch where he has an 81.6 effective field goal percentage plus a bunch of clutch defensive plays. Zero weakness player. So if this is going to say zero weakness player, then how come Smitty and I have seen weaknesses? How come Smitty and I haven't seen enough grit? We haven't seen enough aggression when he's going up against bigger teams. I've just seen him more as a facilitator in the last month or so. Personally, his offense has disappeared, and I'm not sure where it went. January, he kind of went on this span of not scoring over double digits for a couple of games. Then he found his rhythm. February did the same thing. Then he found his rhythm. Now comes March, and you've got 3 points in 7 points, 10 in total, in one of the two biggest games for the Boston Celtics on the road, going 1 for 5 from the field and 3 for 8 from the field versus the Nuggets. That can't happen point blank. The Celtics need Derrick White more than they actually realize, because when you look at the last 4 losses that the Boston Celtics did acquire, this was over the Clippers, this was the Los Angeles Lakers, the Cavs, and the Denver Nuggets. He averaged 5.2 points per game. His boards are still up there at 4.3. That's what he's always been. His assists are also there as well. It was also 5.2. But his assists are actually field goal percentage right there. 23.5%. And his three-point percentage is actually 20%, which is not good, especially for Derrick White, where we know he is a fantastic offensive player. Smitty and I were damn near beating down the wall trying to get this guy to be an NBA All-Star, because that's what we saw from Derrick White to start this season. However, his offense has completely disappeared, and with Jayson Tatum now not starting to come alive for the second half, you can't rely on JB and KP for the entire game. It is clear that Derrick White is the glue that holds this team together. We have seen it, how he facilitates, how he crashes to the board. I always, when I do my prize picks, I at least get one offensive rebound for Derrick White because he's constantly in the mix, and then I know he can shoot from anywhere on the court. But his poor play on either end affects the rest of the group. It truly does, especially when you're trying to have Derrick White find his rhythm. There are numerous plays against the Nuggets. I saw him wide open, and I'm like, pull it, D. White, pull it. And he kicks it out or he turns it over. I'm missing just one piece from Derrick White, and once he finds that, the Celtics should be unstoppable. But I am still confident in Derrick White. I know that he's still there. I know that while he may be some inconsistent games, that's going to happen throughout 82 in the regular season, I'm going to go at about a 6.7 in my confidence for Derrick White. Go on ahead and scale it down below a 1 through 10. Let me know what you guys are thinking, and if I'm just being over dramatic, tell me also as well. While you guys are there, just go on ahead and hit that like button for me. The more likes we get, the more Boston Celtics wins they will have. They've got 21 games left, and I know the Boston Celtics want to do nothing but win. And if you guys really want the Celtics to win, like this video, because I do believe the Celtics winning starts with this man right here, Jayson Tatum. One more time, this does not mean these players are playing bad. They just need more from Derrick White and Jayson Tatum, especially these end-of-game scenarios. If you're going into a 7-game series, a 6-game, 5, whatever it is, you cannot tell me each one is going to be a blowout. There will have to be end-of-game scenarios, and you're going to have to rely on one player to be clutch. Tatum has not done that for the Boston Celtics. I actually have some stats right here. Tatum, in his clutch this season, is 32.6%. The best one on the team is actually Porzingis at 69.6%, and you've got White at 53, Jaylen at 50, and Jrue at 47. Tatum's not the guy to take the last shot anymore. That's okay. Tatum has so many other roles in the team that I'm all right with him not taking the last shot, especially since he was 0 for 7. He is 0 for 7 with less than 5 seconds left in the fourth quarter this season. He even admitted, he was like, I should have gone a little bit quicker when I was going up against the Cavs. You had 19 seconds to take the lead, and he opts out for a buzzer beater mid-range that he misses. What is taking so long? The basketball IQ has to be there. If not, then Derrick White, Kristaps Porzingis, or somebody else needs to step up. Jayson Tatum in his last 6 quarters, that includes both losses, he's at 19 points on 6 of 25 from the field, with 6 turnovers and 2 missed potential game winners. That's a hell of a stat line for somebody that should be in the top 5 MVP candidacy. It really is, and it speaks volumes. 2 missed potential game winners, 6 turnovers, and 19 points. That's not my MVP. It's not. Brian Windhorst doesn't think it's his either. He said, you're going to have to take the Michael Malone advice here and take the L, which is what Malone said after the Celtics loss to the Nuggets. Windhorst continues to say, because Jayson Tatum's MVP case is over. It's not happening. This has been a brutal 3 days. It truly has been eye-opening. The biggest Jayson Tatum fan I have ever met is producer Smitty right here, and the amount of doubts he had after these 2 games are probably what a lot of Boston Celtics fans are feeling right now. Is Tatum still one of the best NBA players right now at 25 years old? 26. Happy birthday, JT. Absolutely. This is not a knock to his skill set. He even said, I have a different role this year than I do last year with Jrue Holiday and KP. I like to see him advancing in other areas of the court, but you still have to be consistent. And Tatum can be a killer. What we saw against the Nuggets was this mid-version of JT that we saw against the Warriors in the finals. I'm looking for that dog. I am looking for that I'm not leaving here until I get a ring type of mentality. And yes, there is so much talent on the Boston Celtics right now, but you know the face of the franchise is 0. Nobody can argue with that. It's Tatum. Everything starts and ends with Tatum. He actually worked out with the Celtics legend Paul Pierce in the offseason, and he's still been keeping up with him throughout the year. But Paul Pierce said on his podcast, look, JT might have like 18 points a night because it's Porzingis' night, because it's Jaylen Brown's night. He's not worried about it. It looked like last year he was going to get 30 no matter what. You know, he was averaging like 29 points per game. But now it looks like, okay, it's their night, so I'm going to sacrifice a little more. That's what it was looking like. And for you to win a championship, that's what you got to do. Well, that's what Paul Pierce thinks Jayson Tatum is doing and should be doing. And who are we? You know, we're not Paul Pierce. And last night against the Nuggets, he actually did, 2 nights ago, he actually had 8 assists. He led the team in assists, so I know that he's working in other areas if he's not putting up those points. But nonetheless, you still got to be contributing, especially in the clutch, if they're going to trust you with that shot. But I have a question for you guys. Can Jayson Tatum be the number 1 and win a tight NBA Finals? We just got swept by the Nuggets 2-0. If they go to Game 7, are you guys trusting Tatum to be that guy to put banner 18 up there? Type Y for yes, type N for no. The last Boston Celtic that needs to step up is not a player, but it is Coach Joe Mazzulla. I know that he can only do so much because he is not physically in uniform and playing with these guys. However, Joe Mazzulla has been a great coach for the Boston Celtics this season. He is coaching the best team in the NBA. But when Joe Mazzulla goes up against even better NBA coaches is when I start to think, what in the hell are you doing, Joe? The Celtics went 9-1 throughout the month of February, and they had 2 50-point wins. Huge. Fantastic. I loved it, but it's always fun when you're winning, right? What happens when you lose 2 back-to-back? People have their eyes on you. Mazzulla looked out-coached, primarily by Michael Malone. You can make the case for J.B. Bickerstaff and the Cavs in the fourth quarter when Dean Wade made 20. But I'm looking at Michael Malone. The minute the Celtics got hot or even showed a glimpse of putting this deficit within 4, Michael Malone took timeout and he was irate. Michael Malone doesn't wait. There were numerous instances where he cut it off at the source. There was no rhythm for the Celtics to build off of. Meanwhile, you got Dean Wade the other night against the Cavs scoring 20, and Joe Mazzulla was complaining about the refs not calling his timeout with 4.6 seconds left. You want to know why, Joe? It was too late. And that is a cause for concern heading into the NBA Finals. When you're going to play the exact same team night after night, they're going to pick up on your players' skill sets. So they're going to rely on the coach to be smarter and be better, especially if you're going up against Eric Spoelstra, Greg Popovich, Michael Malone, another great NBA coach right now. A cause for concern is his lack of timeouts. There's a reason why they call him Timeout Joe. Questionable plays, primarily towards the end of game execution. Like I said, Joe Mazzulla only has so much to do with on the court because it is professional basketball. These players have great basketball IQ. But I'm starting to wonder if Joe Mazzulla is big enough to lead the Celtics to the finals. That's my question for you guys right here before I end up this show. Will Joe Mazzulla lead the Celtics to Banner 18? I want to say yes, because I believe in Brad Stevens and what he has crafted to give Joe Mazzulla the opportunities to win. And I do think he is still a fine coach. But I did not like what I saw going up against Michael Malone. I wish Michael Malone was on our bench. So go on ahead and comment down below. While you guys are at it, just go ahead and hit that sub button. The Boston Celtics do play the Phoenix Suns tonight. So if you guys want anything and everything Boston Celtics coverage, hit that sub button for me.